But the club audience is saying get to it at times means they're impatient assholes. But is it a way of saying that the joke needs to be gotten to faster? Because I am and I'm not saying your bit was bad, but I look at a guy like Pryor. Pryor worked out in clubs, and Pryor always you'd wait for Pryor sometimes because you'd always wait for him, but you knew he was getting to something really fucking funny, and he never made you wait that long. Like he'd make a couple of points, and he'd hit you with something really funny, and then he'd make his point. He had a great way of coming in and hitting you often enough that you didn't lose interest.
Right. Yeah, well, it's certainly the balancing act of that. But I always liked, and of course, I'm not Carlin, obviously, and I haven't had that career, but I mean, I always liked Carlin.
I like how you had to explain that.
Yes.
Well, I'm just always so scared that I'm going to say something
that and then, people will misinterpret as you think. Yeah. I hear Joe on that. Yeah.
We know you're not Carlin, stupid.
Now, go ahead, George. What are you saying? Go ahead.
Go
ahead, Lenny.
I got to get this out before Keith gets in here because he's calling in and saying he's annoyed at what I'm saying right now.
He? Yeah. Keith is annoyed at Jim and Joe. Well, fucking, where is he?
He's got it. We'll get to it.
Okay.
All right, cool. We should go ahead, finish your thought because we do have to hit a break here.
I was just going to say, I just love how on those specials he'll go 5 minutes and just be like, "This is what we're talking about here. It's a point that I'm making," and then he jumps back into
We're not going to get to break because Keith is marching down the hall, and he is ready to roll. By the way, Bert and Philly, the premise on the Bill Hicks bit used terminally ill as stunt people. Yes.
Okay.
That's that. Hey, Keith.
Hi, Keith.
Hey,
are you just annoyed? Are you annoyed already?
Making me sick.
Go ahead, Keith. Keith Robinson, everyone.
Yeah. Well,
by the way, the first time on our show in 4 years.
The fact that you're talking to Joe about great comics makes me want to throw up. Ask Joe about how it is driving Bill Burr around. That's what you need to know. Oh, well, Carlin, you see, you make me. That is the worst conversation I've ever seen.
You're getting annoyed by it?
Oh, it was infuriating. I was punching the air. I was so angry. And Joe, and how you let him skip over Richard Pryor, because Joe does not like Richard Pryor.
No, that's not true. You've been hanging
Shut
that
up
over
with
my
your
head for 5
high-pitched
years.
voice.
You've been hanging that over my head for 5 years. I like Pryor just fine.
Name one of his bits, stupid. One of them.
Mudbone.
Oh,
you know what? That's the one.
I'm a windmill kick him right out the chair.
All right, go with 2.
My father died in your pussy. I know that fucking bit. I'd be in that long, motherfucker, Jack. I know all the fucking Pryor bits, dude. Was it something I said? I have that.
He's shaking.
It's crazy.
You can say it.
I have Live on the Sunset Strip. I have Here and Now. I have Live and Smoking.
Well, either way, we want you to stop. You want to talk? Let's talk great comedy.
And I want you to stop wearing those sweatshirts.
Not with Joe DeRosa. Jesus Christ. He has the body of a Somalian pirate. He stinks.
He's out of breath because he was running down that really long hall to give you a beating.
Oh, it just infuriated me. Listen to Jim sitting back like Bill Moyer going over.
I was trying to discuss it like a gentleman.
Yeah.
I was trying to be a true gentleman.
Right. Well, Joe, I see that you in alternative rooms and Bill Hicks.
But the thing is, the point is, in an alternative room, at times they'll give you a little bit more time. Like sometimes, a club audience can be fucking like you are trying to get to something, or you're doing something that's like a little bit paced, and they get impatient.
Alternative comics stink.
A lot of them do.
No, not a lot of them. All of them. They stink. But anybody that puts themselves on an alternative has to stink.
But it depends on what you call alternative. Like a guy like Hicks. No, but Hicks was to be.
Was Hicks an alternative?
He wasn't no damn alternative comic.
But compared to what that was at the time,
he wasn't. How?
He might be.
He didn't call himself an alternative comic. He was out there doing what he was doing.
He was just a comic.
It was a comic.
That was when no one labeled their comedy. Yeah. They just went up and did their thing.
Well,
right?
I still don't think they should label it, but I understand what Joe is saying.
You know why they label it? Because they stink. You have to have an excuse for not being funny, and that's what it is.
But that's not true. A lot of those guys are really funny.
Who?
Oh, for Christ! Really? We got to get into this game
now?
now?
If you're not going to get into it, shut up.
Patton Oswald's a great example. He's hilarious.
Oh, shut up.
And he's
Jesus
one of those
Christ.
guys.
Patton Oswald stopped being funny in '88.
Oh.
I know everybody's quiet, but I said it.
Shut up, Keith.
Take it.
We're going to take a break. We got Keith Robinson. Keith, you playing the Stress Factory?
Yeah, I'm at the Stress Factory. Yeah, I'm annoyed.
What are you there? Wanda Sykes headlining?
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. No, it's me. It's just me there with I don't know who.
732-545.
When, tonight?
Ha ha.
Or all weekend?
Tonight, I don't even know. It was like some emergency. Somebody
good old Vinny.
booted him.
Good old Vinny.
Oh, Vinny fired somebody?
I don't know what happened. JB Smooth was supposed to be there.
What, did Vinny
Are you
get
there
all
all
angry at
weekend?
somebody?
Yeah.
Oh, great. So it's going to be fucking Keith with a room full of angry Curb Your Enthusiasm fans. Who the fuck are you?
You're not JB Smooth. Yeah.
That would make me happy if nobody knew you were going to be there only for fucking JB.
No, why would I wouldn't be on here if there was loaded with people. No,
Sure.
it must have not been enough people
All
there.
right, we'll figure it out. So we got Keith Robinson at Stress Factory. We got Joe. Where are you again, Joe? Comics tonight, right?
Comics tonight.
And I think we're going to break with that George Carlin bit. We're going to give it a shot. The one you referenced about cemeteries.
Oh, how he thought cemeteries were outdated.
Yeah,
yes.
let's see if this works, and we'll continue. Opie and Anthony without Anthony today. He's at his grandma's funeral because people are wondering. Hey, why don't we...
Because I walked in, I'm sorry, I walked in and Keith and Joe were going at it.
Yeah.
That's why I said to Joe, why don't you go look at the bishop?
Why were they going at it?
I don't know.
It's this alternative comedy.
Oh,
is
you're still on that?
Well, it heats me up a little bit. You know, it's just because it's never happened. You know, in school you didn't have alternative funny guys.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't look over to a room of silence and see a bunch of guys being quiet. Like, you know, they're just alternative.
Right.
But
The
They were
funny
just funny.
guys were the funny guys.
Funny's
But
funny,
the
right?
argument...
Back of the bus guys.
Be fair, Keith. Nobody argued that point. You got all hot when I said that doing those rooms in addition to the clubs has made me a better comic, and you said that was bullshit.
One would debate that.
You said that was bullshit. That's fair. I mean, that's a ridiculous thing to combat. I'm
listen
saying
what I'm
different
saying to you.
rooms, and it's helping.
But you're saying alternative comedy rooms just doing different rooms made you funnier, stupid. Not the room itself, not the alternative comedy room, different rooms.
Fine. The rooms where that type of show is happening help me out. I mean,
Joe, I've been funny all my life. You think I'm going to allow you to come here with your awful body and tell me about funny?
Why are you getting so mad?
Because, Joe, I've been a thug nigga since I was a rug nigga. Back of the bus nigga, hand on the trigger. But I didn't shoot from the hips. I threw from the shoulder until I got older.
See,
you feel that right? Oh, that was beautiful.
I was angry, but I like the way you danced around with that. It put a cute smile on my face.
Although I got to say, in Keith's defense, that it's not even. It's like back of the back of the bus guys is a great description. Not in a tough guy way, but just in the fucking guys that were just kind of being assholes, sitting in the back, fucking teasing everybody else. Those are typically, and the guys that run comedy or in the decision making are the guys
front
that,
of the bus guys.
the nerds that kind of sat in the front.
kidding.
Complete nerds.
But Jim, in all fairness, and I know you're a fan of the man, Woody Allen is certainly not a back of the bus personality, and he's hilarious.
But Woody Allen's thing is. Woody Allen is just nothing but fucking and he's one of the greatest joke writers ever. He
funny.
is joke after joke after joke. Woody, to me, is like what an alternative comic is. Like, because he was so alternative to what everybody was back then. It was like, take my wife, please. Look at that, the kitchen. And then Woody came up and I'm Jewish and he was nebbishy and no one was doing it.
That was an alternative comedy.
Yeah, he didn't label it. To me,
Stop putting, I don't put Woody Allen in the category of alternative comedy.
This is where you're wrong, though. This is where you're wrong. I have a book because I have a book called Seriously Funny: The Rebel Comedians of the 50s and 60s, and they talk specifically in that book about how Woody Allen, Mort Saul, Don Rickles, Phyllis Diller, and fucking so on were the alternative comics of the era because they started to play the rooms instead of the Catskills because they thought the Catskills stunk.
They never called themselves alternative comics.
Well, just because they used the word.
Well, why you use a word then?
Because that's what it's called now. Who gives a shit?
Well, see, all right.
What changes this?
I give a shit because I'm a comic.
It's morphed into where it's morphed into where a lot of people. But it's like you're getting caught up in the term alternative. It's morphed into where a lot of unfunny people hide under the moniker of I'm an alternative comic, whereas a guy like Woody was brilliantly funny and he was just alternative to the style that was happening. Back then, to me, alternative was more of a style thing, and it wasn't where certain people who aren't funny made their excuse for not being funny by saying I'm alternative. Woody was funny. You know what I mean? It's like
I'm with Keith. Just don't label this. Just don't label it. Just go
It's
up there.
like you go up there and
be a comic.
Be funny.
Right.
Just go do what you do.
I'm not a fan of labeling all that crap.
Nobody-
And I'm not a fan of the theme comedy show either, by the way.
No.
no, it's terrible.
Where you get three Italian comics together and they have a cute name for it.
Joe was on the Egyptian tour, I believe.
Did he do some of those?
I do Arab American shows sometimes, yeah.
And it's a theme show?
Well, they'll have Arab American comedy shows where it's
I'm sorry.
it's all.
I'm sorry, Joe.
Opie, it's okay. I'm sorry too that I sink that low to make a buck.
Speaking of comics, let's move on to the Jamie Foxx thing.
Oh yeah, man.
We
He
go back to the
apologized.
alternative comedy argument anytime, no problem.